It can be tempting to throw money at a deal that appears too good to be true, but oftentimes it is. I was scammed out of a GTX 1070 listed for a whopping $99 but I mean, come on, that should be expected, right? It was more or less an experiment for me, and I have it detailed in this video right here, but today I want to discuss scammer strategies in general as they relate to graphics cards and how to spot them. With the market hot, there are plenty of potential buyers to be fooled. The first thing that always catches my eye on a site like eBay is a sweet deal, but lately I've noticed prices dipping into uncharted territory for specific cards, namely the GTX 1050. If you haven't already seen these videos from other channels, the supposed 1050 scam involves the flashing of some older card, essentially fooling the operating system, at least on a software level, to recognize the card as a 1050, when in fact, most of the time on the hardware side, the card is something much older, usually a 550 or 650 Ti. Massive performance gap there, but the problem associated with clicking an ad like this is that you're bombarded with conflicting information. Check it out, the seller has an excellent feedback at 98.7%. They're offering 60-day returns and 100% buyer satisfaction. You're even backed by the eBay purchase guarantee, which, I mean, shouldn't be surprising, but still. So you feel confident. But if you follow through with a bit of due diligence before purchasing, you'd notice the card has a few odd traits. First off, there is no branding on the card. It's simply marketed as a generic GTX 1050. It even says that the brand of this card is, quote, unbranded/generic. First red flag. Second, certain physical attributes of this card don't line up on paper. For instance, there is no GTX 1050 of which I've ever heard boasting a VGA port. It's also listed as a 115 watt TDP card, though a simple search on Nvidia's website confirms that the reference model is rated at 75 watts. This shouldn't be higher unless the card in question uses a custom PCB, at which point you'd be paying a premium, not receiving a huge discount. Doesn't matter much anyway for the 1050, this TDP is wrong. Another point in this category, the GTX 1050's maximum display resolution is 7680 by 4320, whereas this ad acknowledges a max res of 2048 by 1024. You can also cross-check things like core and memory frequencies, power connections, and bandwidth to either confirm or deny your suspicions. The good thing here is that the seller is being honest at least with the specifications, just not the card as a whole. But if none of these qualities strike you as odd, be sure to at least scroll down to the item description. This is where things get pretty funny, and where our seller in particular left us a very lovely note. Quote, "This is a customized version, not original. The pursuit is the cost performance. Although the interface and performance have changed, it can meet most of the usage requirements in reality." I don't even really know what to say. This sounds as though it's been written by the same person always selling fake Rolexes in Manhattan. This is your final swing. If you miss this one, you're in for a huge scam. Strike 3 and you're out. But let's say you do fall for the scam, or you purposefully buy into this just to see what'll happen. What should you do next? Well, in my case, I was stuck waiting for several weeks before receiving a refund. The account was flagged as compromised and restored soon after the original owner, and it turns out the card never really existed in the first place. What you should do, though, in a case like this, is wait for the card to arrive, inspect it, take it apart if you have to, take a photo of the GPU under the shroud and heatsink. This is something that they won't change, right? So this will prove if they falsely advertise this product, and then file a claim with eBay. Now, since you've got buyer's protection, you should hear something back soon. Select the item was not as advertised button and fill in the comment box with exactly what happened, and hey, you have a photo now for proof of false advertising. More than likely, you'll be refunded your money after a short waiting period, but even better, you'll usually get to keep the card too. So the joke's actually on the seller in this case. Call the bluff, pay up front, file a claim, profit. That's what many do, at least. I don't know if you're interested in trying that. Let me know what happens in the comment section below. I don't need a 550 Ti, so I'm not going to bother going through this thing again. I'm simply pointing out the loophole here. Another thing you can do and keep an eye out for that I didn't mention earlier was the seller location. If the graphics card's coming from a place like Hong Kong, be very, very careful. Not because an Asian selling the graphics card more than likely, but because these scams do often originate from China. It's just a fact. It's how it is. So I suggest clicking on the seller's profile first and reading negative reviews before closing an order like this. It's best to prepare mentally for what may occur in the future. By the way, make sure you always pay through eBay with a verified account, and that you always use a site like PayPal to send and receive money. Never navigate to a third-party site from an eBay ad and pay through their service, because if you thought receiving the wrong graphics card was bad, wait till you see what they do with your credit card. By the way, if you like this video, let me know by giving this one a thumbs up. I appreciate a thumbs down for the opposite. Keep a look out there, folks, for those those scammers, they're all over the place, especially now in the graphics card department. Stay tuned for more videos like this one. This is Science Studio. Thanks for learning with us.